Hello guys, hello football managers. So today we'll be talking on how to play football manager like a Luis Enrique PSG team or a Luis Enrique's team. So basically, your typical PSG team is they usually play with a 4-3-3 formation. And one of the things you have to understand about your PSG teammates or Luis Enrique team is their possession playing side. They are a good pressing team and they like to be dominant, and they play as a component and as a group, unlike your typical Real Madrid team that usually plays individualistic, or they play to the best of the player's strengths. But when it comes to PSG, the strength is in the group. And I'll be jumping straight into the tactics. And basically, when it comes to your typical PSG side, you have to understand that they play with a 4-3-3. And with the 4-3-3, they play with a sweeper keeper, but unfortunately Donnarumma is not a sweeper keeper. And sorry about this, I'll be using one of my safe where I'm basically using Liverpool and I'm in the year 2036. So let's just take it like I'm in the future already. So basically, this is my team, and one of the things you have to understand is, okay, at the fullback section, they make use of the wing backs, and I've been trying to create your typical PSG side, but one of the things you have to understand is your PSG team actually doesn't play with a ball-winning midfielder. They actually play something that looks like a flat three, where everyone rotates, there's usually movement and speed as well. And when it comes to the front line, the front three, they make use of a false nine, and the front three actually rotates or roam around their positions. So like basically everyone feels for everyone, like it's a group thing and not an individualistic side. So what I'm trying to do here is I'll show you my results. I've been trying the tactics, I've been trying to make it work, I've been trying to blend, and like what I said in my previous video, when it comes to football manager, many of us like to set up tactics based on what we see in real life, our favorite manager, or the way our club plays, or we try new ideas. So one of the things I've been trying to do, and one of the things I said earlier was in my previous video, was when it comes to creating a new formation or a new style of play, you have to understand that your team has to get a grab of it. If not, you end up having bad results. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the tactics is bad. It might just be that your team doesn't actually understand your tactics. So you have to make them familiar with it, and you go to tactics. This is what indicates the familiarity, or how well your team understands the formation. Look at it like this. My team understands the mentality of the formation, the passing style, the creative freedom, the trigger press, marking, tempo, width. Just the position isn't accomplished actually. So but that alone is good enough to make the tactics work. So now we're actually 12 games into the season, and the first 3 games of this, or 4 games of the season, no goal was conceded. And we actually played Sunderland. Real Madrid is actually the best team in this save and the richest, and they have the best players. Chelsea. So we played 4 games. We didn't actually concede lots of goals, or we didn't concede any goal, but then we ended up going into a bump at Everton and Wolves. So we had to do some slight work, and then we ended up going the rest of the games unbeaten. This Carabao Cup or EFL Cup actually went into penalty shootout where my team actually lost, but we Actually, I think we had more of the possession. Okay, that was the Liverpool, 60% to 40% ball possession. Pass completed 85%. Yellow card. Okay, fouls, we had 18 fouls. Corners, 10 corners to Liverpool, 5. Our XG 1.33 to 1.05 to Liverpool. Shots on target, we had 4 actually. Chelsea had 6, but we had more shots or more attempts at 16. Chelsea 12. Okay, that's that. So basically, I'll be showing you how to create this formation. Okay, firstly, one thing you have to understand is while setting any formation, it's your mentality, your style of play, and what actually you want the team to do, basically. So mentality, I'm using the positive mentality, and for in possession, I'm using fairly narrow approach play. We're using play out of defense, overlap left and overlap right. Passing directness, we are using much shorter. Tempo, we're using slightly lower. Final third, we're using walk into box. Okay, then we leave the rest, and creative freedom, be more expressive. Why we'll be using play out of defense is because we're position playing side and we need more of the ball. We need to control the tempo. And passing style, the reason we're going for much shorter is so that we'll be able to retain much of the ball. And tempo is to play things in a patient manner, work with the ball, or basically just pass the team to death. That's just what we're after. Death by football. So that's that. Okay, so in transition, we're using when possession has been lost, we'll go for counter press. Well, actually, yeah, counter press when possession has been won. But actually, one of the things you have to understand is a Luis Enrique's team actually doesn't counter. They are more of a old shape and then patient approach again. Keep hold of the ball and rotate it till they score that winning goal they are looking for. So, but based on, I was looking for a different team, but for the sake of it, you have to leave it at old shape. But one of the things I saw while playing the old shape was that there were times I saw that we could score from counter attack, but we actually had to wait for the good team to. I saw my attackers waiting for the team to regroup, so I had to change it down to counter. But you can keep it at old shape and see for yourself, and then tweak it from there. So I'll be leaving it at old shape just for the sake of the study. Then goalkeeper in possession, we kept it at distribute quickly, but you can also leave it and allow your goalkeeper to think for himself. Distribute to area, we made use of distribute to fullback and distribute to centre backs, distribute to fullbacks. Then distribution type, take short kicks. That's when the goalkeeper is with the ball. Take short kicks. So that's that. Now we're going to the out of possession. Out of possession, you can actually play a higher defensive line, but I'm making use of a much higher defensive line. I just basically love using it. And and for the line of engagement, we are making use of a high press because we're a position team, and also we need to get more of the ball, especially when we lose it. We need to regain it as quickly as possible. So that's why you need the high press. And one of the reasons I make use of this much higher defensive line is just to make the field more smaller and more compact. And since we're playing a much shorter pass, I need my team, my players to be closer to each other, or you will need your players to be closer to each other, and not just because you might end up losing the ball by playing long balls or just to get to a player. So that's that. So trigger press we use much more often. Prevent short goalkeeper distribution. That one you will take it, yes. Tackling style, you leave those ones to your players. And I will tell you the reason why I say you should leave it to your players much more later. Defensive line, we use step up more to make the field more compact because the defenders will be coming much higher. Pressing style, we use trap outside. Trap outside basically means you leading your opponent to take the ball to the byline or this artificial line here, and by taking it to that side you are actually blocking the line of you are reducing their line of pass, because now basically the only way they can pass is either forward or backward, because you'll be blocking the whole of this area, this center area. So that's that. Cross engagement, you leave that one, but you can choose any of it, but I will advise you leave it. Okay, that's that. So now we'll be jumping into player role. Player role, basically you need the sweeper keeper in attack, and okay, there's no instruction. Actually the instruction here is short, it's already taking short passing. That one is the general instruction. Dribble more, take more risks. Okay, for the ball playing defender, one will be in one of my ball playing defender is in defend, and Y1 is to cover. Why? Because one thing I notice in the PSG side is that there's always one defender following the attacker wherever it goes. So that's just it, and Y1 stays back to protect the line. And basically you end up having because you have two wing backs going like this, up and down. So basically you will end up, let me keep something here, let me keep it here. As the game goes on, you end up having 3 at the back. So basically the formation will end up being like a 4-3-4-3 formation. But that's just that. Don't worry, I'll get back to that. Wing back in attack. Okay. Okay, we're back. So basically one of my ball playing defender will be in stopper. Why? One of the reasons I put him in stopper is a ball playing defender will push ahead of the defensive line and close down players before they get to the area. So that's why I'll be leaving him at stopper, just in case. Then the wing back will be in attack, and both wing backs will be in attack. And one of the reasons I did that is because of Hakimi and Mendes. They are always attacking and what have you, and their instruction will be to trigger press. Okay, it's in balance. You have to click on the mark, say yes to the mark tighter and tackle harder, and also stay wider. That's that. Okay, same thing as your left wing back. So in this midfield we have Ricky here, who will be playing as a deep line playmaker. Why? Because we need him to come. Okay, we'll bring the ball out of defense and operate with a more expansive passing range, and he aims to initiate attacking moves. Your right hand central midfielder, you'll be using the Carrilaro in support. you'll be using the Calero in support, and your in-game instruction will be to pass it shorter, mark tighter, tackle harder, get further forward. Yeah, that's that. And for your left-sided midfielder, you have to use mark tighter, tackle harder. Okay, this for him I left the standard. Why? Because I need him to take more risks and not just keep it to short passing. I left him in standard, so he might end up losing much of the ball, but at least the team is actually attacking. Okay, and also I clicked on the run wide with the ball, since we'll be using the overlap, and I always want here to be choked up like something like this, so that you end up having like a 3-1 or 3-on-2 on the opposition. So that's that. And for the front line, we have the inside forward. Yes, for the inside forward, we'll click on the roam from the in-game instruction. You will give him roam from position, sit narrow, mark tighter, tackle harder. Same with this second, with the right hand inside forward as well. Mark tighter, tackle harder, roam from position. And his passing directness is standard as well, but you can put it in short passing. But the reason I kept it in standard is because I want them to take more risks, so I'm leaving it in standard. Okay, that's that. And for the front line, basically you can use the first 9, but one of the things I found out in the first 9 is, maybe because I don't know whether my striker wasn't good enough to play it, but one of the things I found out in first 9 was that there were times I ended up not having any attacker in the opposition center line, so that's why I moved it to advance forward. So with the advance forward, he will basically still do the same thing. He still falls back to get the ball, he still goes to the flank, he still rotates round. So basically you can use the advance forward. So for this, we click on the tights, mark tighter, tackle harder. And yeah, let's go back to the out of possession. Now, one of the reasons I said I'll get back to this tackling, this stay on feet and get stalking. The reason I said there was no need to click on this was because you are still going to give set instruction to the players through this aspect. There's the player instruction section, which you can see the PI section, which is mark tighter and tackle harder, because giving them at the out of possession area will just end up you having more red cards than the rest. So that's that. So okay, that's what we have for now. So basically I will just jump and show you how the formation works in one of the games. Okay, I will use the Sheffield United at home. Okay, so basically we had 11 shots on target, 27 shots, our goal attempt. XG was 2.61 to 0.32. Corners, we had 11 to their 2. Fouls, we had 9 to their 24. Yellow card. Pass completion, we had 84%. Possession, we had 67. Okay, let's jump. Let's see the goals.